earth do I do this so early in the morning? What's up, YouTube? It's your boy John from Project Ellsworth, and I'm back with you today to show you guys another section of my horror movie collection. Let's do it. Alright, today we are looking at row 3, section 6, which is that guy right there. I'll get them things pulled and I will show you what I got. As always, let me kick this off by saying I hope that you guys are all doing well and staying safe. Alright, first up is a movie called I'll Take Your Dead. I picked this up sometime in the last month or two at Dollar Tree. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Sounds like a dude makes bodies disappear, if I remember correctly. William has a simple job. He makes dead bodies disappear. Through circumstances beyond his control, his little farmhouse in the country has become a dumping ground for casualties of the gang-related murders in the nearby city. His daughter Gloria has become used to rough-looking men dropping off corpses and even convinced that some of them are haunting their house. After a woman's body is dumped at the house, William begins his meticulous process when he realizes she is not actually dead. This actually sounds pretty interesting. As the gang activity increases, William patches the woman up and holds her against her will until he can figure out what to do with her. But just when things begin to But just when they begin to understand one another, the woman's would-be murderers get word that she's alive and set out to finish what they started. That actually sounds really good. I'm starting a whole Dollar Tree thing, I think, on my channel, and hopefully I'll get to that sooner rather than later. Next up, I bought this, I believe, at Dollar General for, I think, $5, but I haven't watched this yet either. Aaron Eckhart and Carice Van Houten in Incarnate. I don't know anything about this. I remember somebody replying to a haul video that this movie was pretty good. Aaron Eckhart stars as Dr. Seth Ember, an unconventional exorcist I'm already in. An unconventional exorcist who uses science instead of religion to tap into the minds of the possessed to remove the demon from their subconscious. When an 11-year-old boy becomes possessed by a creature of unspeakable evil, Ember enters the mind of the boy to attack the vengeful demon. But he finds himself facing the battle of his life and horrors of his own past. That actually sounds pretty good. Got to get to that too. I remember quite a few people telling me that movie was good. Alright, here is another very recent Dollar Tree find. Indigenous. Haven't watched this one yet. There's quite a few of them in here. I think we're about 50-50 on what I have watched and what I haven't watched this week. A group of friends travel first day with my new mouth. A group of friends travel to exotic Panama for a week of partying in a lush tropical paradise. What begins as a dream vacation quickly turns deadly when they realize they are being hunted by bloodthirsty, flesh-eating creatures. That sounds right up my alley. Mark of Horror would probably like that too. I know he likes monster movies, but they don't look so much like monsters. That's very reminiscent of what you see in The Descent, but these things appear to have working and functioning eyes, unlike The Descent. Alright, here is what appears to be a J-horror movie called Infection. Infection spreads like your worst nightmare. Creepy as hell. Let's see. A patient in a hospital dies due to malpractice. In a panic, the doctors responsible stage a cover-up. Shortly thereafter, another patient is left at the hospital doors dying of bizarre symptoms. When the patient dies, the doctors involved in the cover-up begin acting strangely. Then, one by one, they develop the same mysterious, deadly symptoms. I really should watch this. I've had this for many, many, many years, and I've never watched it. I gotta remedy that. Alright, here is... This I remember being pretty cool. This was a haunted house. It's the first one in the stack this week that I've actually watched. The Innkeepers. This is a haunted house movie. I remember this being pretty cool. I don't know what I remember about this. I remember it being very slow, but I also remember it being pretty cool. After 100 years of service, the Yankee Peddler Inn is shutting its doors for good. The last remaining employees, Claire, which is Sarah Paxton from Shark Night, 3D, and The Last House on the Left. She was the girl in Last House on the Left, the remake of Last House on the Left. That was the main target of the bad guys. Let me see. Are determined to uncover the proof of what many believe to be one of New England's most haunted hotels. As the inn's final days draw near, odd guests check in the pair of minimum wage house hunters and the pair of minimum wage ghost hunters, house hunters. Wrong show. Begin to experience strange and alarming events that may ultimately cause them to be mere footnotes in the hotel's long unexplained history. Terrific, top-notch, blood-freezing. I don't remember it being all that, but I remember this being pretty cool. Cool movie, slow burn. Honestly, don't remember a whole lot about it. Alright, next up is one that I don't remember where I got this. Oh, this is going to be a present for Jason from Horrific Nightmares. It's called Insaniac, and it's from Sub Rosa Studios. So, Jason, if you're watching this video, you got another movie coming your way. I'm going to leave this sitting out. Let me see. It looks like it's going to be very difficult to read with my 49-year-old eyes. It's like pink writing on a red background, and I'm not even going to bother because it's going to suck. So, keep an eye out for the mail, Jason. You got another one coming. Next up is a movie from Dimension Extreme called Inside. Excuse me. This is one of those movies from that French extreme movement that was going on a few years back. I remember this movie being pretty out there. Basically, you got a pregnant woman here, and you have, no, it's not a picture of the other woman on the back. You have somebody else who is lurking around the outside of her house in this movie. She's trying to get inside the house to get inside of this woman and take the baby. Pretty crazy movie. I've actually been wanting to go back and watch that again because I've seen a lot of people talking about that recently. I have no idea why all of a sudden that movie's popping back up again. But I've heard it mentioned quite a bit lately, and I want to go back and check it out. Something I picked up at the dollar store, or Dollar Tree, is the American version of Inside, which I have to assume that lady is trying to get inside the house to get that lady's baby right there out of her, and it's just our probably watered down version of that awesome French movie. Alright, next up is, I'm not going to go through reading all these because I'm sure you guys all know what these are. It is the Insidious franchise. So, Insidious, Insidious 2, Insidious 3, and Insidious The Final Key. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, and The Last Key is what it's called. Those movies were pretty good. When they first came out, they very quickly, I tied that to The Conjuring, because I know that the same dude with the, I'm terrible with some of these actors' names, the same dude that was in The Conjuring is in this. It may have even been flip-flopped. I don't remember which one came out first. And now I can't see the names on it. Patrick Wilson. Yep, Patrick Wilson. Patrick Wilson was in all four of those movies, and he was also in The Conjuring as one of the Warrens. But those movies were cool. Insidious was cool. I liked them. I liked them more towards the beginning than I did when they got to The Last Key. I remember not liking them as much as they went on. I don't even know how to describe what that is. There's a little boy in the house, and he's being like haunted by like a red and black figure that is hanging out in the house. They bring in the old lady that was the teacher in the original Freddy Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and she's going in and out of dreams. It's a whole thing. That to me is almost impossible to try and explain that in a few short sentences when I haven't quite figured it all out in my own mind. Alright, moving on. Here's another Dollar Tree find. The Insaniac with Danny Trejo. I haven't watched this one yet either. After someone breaks into John Figg's home and takes all of his material and sentimental possessions, he develops a severe case of insomnia and learns that the people around him are not trustworthy as they appear to be. So, this almost sounds more like a cop movie than a horror movie. Who knows? One of these days I'll check it out. Alright. Here's a movie that I've heard so many mixed things about over the years. I watched it. I wasn't impressed with it. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Interview with the Vampire. I really am not a big Tom Cruise fan at all. I'm just not. I dig Brad Pitt. There ain't no way in the world I'm reading all of that. I like Brad Pitt. I don't like Tom Cruise. I'm not the biggest vampire guy in the world, to be honest with you. I'm a horror movie fan to my bones, but I'm just never been a big vampire dude. There's some good vampire movies out there that I sincerely really like a lot, but this, unfortunately, is not one of them. And for the most part, I'm not a big vampire dude. And I definitely don't like Tom Cruise. I don't need to get into Interview with a Vampire. It's one good vampire and one bad vampire, if I remember correctly. But they're both way too pretty for me. Whatever. Not my thing. Interview with a Vampire. Next up, John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness. There's another one that I have watched, but it's been a pretty good amount of time since I've seen it. Master of Horror John Carpenter is back with his scariest movie to date. Sutter Kane is the best-selling author whose newest novel is literally driving readers insane. When he inexplicably vanishes, his publisher sends special investigator John Trent to track him down. Drawn to a town that only exists in Kane's books, Trent crosses the barrier between fact and fiction and enters a terrifying world. Pardon me. Gross. A terrifying world from which there is no escape. Inspired by the tales of H.P. Lovecraft, this shocking story this shocking story in the words of its acclaimed director, horror beyond description. I remember this being pretty creepy, and there's a few scenes that I remember from this movie, but I don't remember the movie as a whole very well. Back in October, I was trying to rifle through John Carpenter movies and put them together and talk about them. I had a segment back then called Flick Friday, and I reasonably quickly realized that trying to tie something to a certain day of the week is just not a good idea for me. So that went out the door. But yeah, I wanted to get them In the Mouth of Madness back then, and I didn't do it. I definitely would assume that there's going to be more of me talking about that movie on this channel in the future. It's a John Carpenter movie that I've seen and don't remember all that well, so I absolutely have to revisit that. Next up is something that I would say, for the most part, is the most suggested movie by the people who've watched my Dollar Tree videos. By people telling me I needed to watch. Haven't seen it yet. The Intruders. I've had a lot of people tell me that I need to watch this movie, and I definitely will get to this. It's from the executive producers of Paranormal Activity Insidious. Speak of the devil. They should have left her alone. Anna suffers from agoraphobia, so crippling that when a trio of criminals break into her house, she cannot bring herself to flee. But the intruders don't realize that agoraphobia is not her only psychosis. So it sounds to me, in simpler terms, that somebody breaks into this chick's house, she won't leave because she's afraid to leave, and they wind up biting off more than they can chew. That's what that sounds like to me. Alright, this movie's awesome. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This is a remake. It was the late 70s, I believe. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to look up the year. Yeah, there it is. 78. Never mind. 1978. This has Leonard Nimoy in it. It has Donald Sutherland in it. And it's really, 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 really cool. I like this movie a lot. Pods developing humans, or I don't remember if it was aliens or what it was. It's been a while since I've seen this one too, but this is definitely a cool movie. Undercover darkness, while an unexpected city sleeps. Under cover of darkness. There sounds like they're missing a word there. Under cover of darkness, While an unsuspecting city sleeps, there it is, an alien life form begins to sow the seeds of unspeakable terror. Donald Sutherland, Brooke Adams, Leonard Nimoy, and Jeff Goldblum star in this shocking first-rate suspense thriller that literally chills to the blood. I completely forgot that Jeff Goldblum was in this movie. Absolutely forgot. One by one, the residents of San Francisco are becoming drone-like shadows of their former selves. As the phenomenon spreads, two Department of Health workers, Matthew and Elizabeth, uncover the horrifying truth: mysterious pods are cloning humans and destroying the originals. The unworldly invasion grows stronger with each passing minute, hurling Matthew and Elizabeth into a desperate race to save not only their own lives, but the future of the entire human race. This movie's cool. The scene that stands out in my head all the time is at the end of the movie, Donald Sutherland. I'm not gonna tell you that. That kind of spoils things. All right, this is the last one of the day. Is The Invisible Man. I guess you could call this a remake, I suppose. Don't see why not. I thought this was really, really cool. I did a review on this movie on my channel early this year. I think it was towards the beginning of the whole pandemic that we're all having such a good time with. This was cool. A lot of people did not like that movie. I'm not one of them. I thought it was really, really good. Woman was being abused by her husband. Woman gets away from her husband. Husband becomes invisible. And that's all I'm going to tell you, because I don't want to spoil that one for you either. But I liked it. I thought it was really good. I know that I've seen a lot of people on here also say that they like it, but I've also seen several people kind of gagging over that movie with the little puke emojis and all that silly crap. I liked it. Check it out for yourself if you want to. I'm a very firm believer in form your own opinion. Don't judge by, puke emojis and other people's opinion. Watch the damn thing and see if you like it for yourself. All right, I'm going to get out of here. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really like this video and you've been enjoying my content up to this point, and I hope you have, please do me a huge personal favor. Click that subscribe button and ring that bell. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Have a kick-ass day. And thank you for watching. Later, folks.